I'm living in Pelham for 61 years. Originally, I came from the Bronx. I served in the U.S. Army in the ETO with the 30th Infantry Division. And I had a service of 5 years in the Army. And as I got discharged from the Army, I worked in various automobile and aircraft factories, in the States. Eventually, I worked with the New York City Police Department as a civilian for 46 years and retired in 2002. Still intact with my military. And as a member of the 258th Field Artillery, which is the Bronx unit, we give an annual what's called the General of the Army Omar Bradley Award to the top mathematics student at the Military Academy at West Point. This year, I am going to give the award to a cadet on Tuesday, I think it's the 27th of this month, wherever it is. And it's an experience that I've been going to West Point for the last 15 years. We had various members of our regiment to give the presentation. This time we are very low, and we still try to keep the tradition that we do at West Point. I was sent overseas, and I landed on D plus 4. We were held off, before the invasion, and we went through from Omaha Beach to the Elbe River, Magdeburg in Germany, and the commander of the 1st Panzer Division surrendered to our commanding officer, General Leland Hobbs, and he was a class of 1915. Those are little things that I can remember. After the war, of course, we came home.
So how long were you in Germany?
Actually, I was in there for almost 20 months.
20 months?
Because what happened was that being I had a hitch is a commitment for 3 years. I had a commitment before that, and what it was is on rotation, the war was still going on in the Pacific, and they rotated the men, and they had a point system. And being I was in the service and I had various things here, I had a high point system, and they kept me there, and I was in charge of disposing all the military vehicles from Germany back to France, and I had German, ex-German soldiers or whatever to do the work, and that's it. And we kept moving back because the Russians were coming in. We moved from Magdeburg to half Germany, and we had to release these towns to the Germans as they came out. And after the war, of course, I came home, got immediate discharge.
So when you came home, you were able to find work right away?
Well, fortunately, what happened was that I was out of work a couple of months, and I got a job with the Packard Motor Car Company in the Bronx. It was a big dealership. I worked with them the end of 45 through 46. And then through the GI Bill, I went to a Stewart Technical School, 64 under GI, to get my licenses for airframe and engine. Right? Went to Teterboro, took my test, passed the test. Right? Then I went to work for Chance Ford, the division of Sikorsky in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. Right? And we were making still making the course airplanes, for the Navy and stuff like that. And what happened was we started building jets. And At that time, our President Harry Truman said that we have to decentralize the essential war industry from the Northeast here. And what they did was they gave Chancellor a B-29 plant that they built in Texas. And when we started building jets, there was no facility here in the Northeast for them to fly and test these planes. They would have to go to MacArthur Field. So the company moved. My job was open. But being I was in the service for 5 years, the family did not allow it. So after that, I came back to New York and I worked for Chrysler Corporation. I worked for Packard, Dodge, and the last automobile job that I had here was in New Rochelle, the English, Jerry English in New Rochelle, number with the Chrysler. And next to that, I went to work for the New York City Police Department as a civilian.
As a civilian.
The motorcycle precinct 1, 20-some years then. Then I went to various stations and shops and stuff. And after the 9/11, what happened was I had so much overtime and extra pay. It was wise for me to get out, make an addition to my pension. See, that was the things that we did. Sorry day when I retired. So I'm retired now, 10, 13, 12 years.